Where did mankind come from?
God.
What language do Africans speak?
African.
Where is the Sahara Desert?
In Africa.
Have you ever studied Africa?
No.
What words come to mind when you think about Africa?
Their culture, tribes, yeah.
Is Africa a country?
I think it's a continent.
What do you find is the coolest thing about Africa?
The women have a very large part in running the society, which is really cool, I think.
Is Africa bigger or smaller than America?
I think it's smaller.
So, what words come to mind when you think about Africa?
Hungry and war.
What language would you say Africans speak?
I want to say African, but maybe English or French or something. I don't really know, honestly. I'd have to look into that.
Is Africa a country?
I think it's a continent, but I think it's got a lot of countries in it.
Given the size, which would you think is bigger, America or Africa?
I think there's more land in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, North America is bigger. If you're asking the United States, I think that it's bigger than the United States.
Do you know where the Sahara Desert is located?
No.
Have you ever studied Africa before?
No.
Alright, thank you.
Have you ever studied Africa?
Yes.
Okay. What words come to mind when you think of Africa?
I guess like the beginning, growing, developing, ethnic.
Is Africa a country?
It's a continent.
What language do Africans speak?
A lot of languages. There's several languages.
Where did mankind come from?
People believe Africa was the first place that, I guess, the human race was like discovered.
As you can see from the interviews, students today have a misinterpreted view of Africa and its significance. It's important to highlight the impact African culture has on the world with the technological advancements, mathematical expressions, and the value of learning African history, as it brings a new understanding to today's world. Bringing the world together under common identity as mankind has the potential to promote equality and preserve the integrity of world history.
There are many parts of African culture that is important to our history. Some include dance and language. In this dance, called the Moribasa, which is performed by African women who overcome obstacles in societies, shows women's strength and promotes equality throughout the region. If cultures around the world, including the United States, advocate for African culture by studying these dances, it could be a catalyst in women's rights and respect as well as other social issues. Another part of African culture that is important to study is language. One error in thinking is that people in Africa speak African, and that's the only one language. On the other hand, there are actually multiple different language groups in Africa. The reason we believe it is so important to study African language is because it was a major influence on Greek language. In school, we study things like Greek morphemes and Greek morphology, but never once were we told that the Greek language was borrowed from Egypt.
Learning about the achievements made by ancient Africans in mathematical research and economics will not only allow for the world to be introduced to historic view of how this region interacted in the past, but also will focus on new practices and policies that may be integrated into their society. The ancient Africans played a role in shaping astronomy and anthropology. This impact can be seen with the calendar gold during the Mansa Musa era and the making of the pyramids. For example, the Africans clearly had a profound foundation of mathematics, and science in order to build the pyramids, and the impact and intelligence from leaders like Mansa Musa highlighted the economics.
Another aspect of Africa's impact through the globe can be seen with its contribution to the earliest of mankind. Acting as a cradle of life, historians have accounted South Africa's impact on humanity, which is known through the world's first language, earliest evidence of chemistry and fire, and the oldest mathematical object. This holds as the foundation of most of human life and can be used as a timeline in order to see where we come from and where we began. This is important to study how we as people have grown in established societies since the ancient world. However, it is our duty to recognize ancient Africa as a precursor to several successful societies.